Okay, I'm a man of my word. I asked for 10 likes and y'all basically gave me 20. So here we go. My thoughts on Julian Newman. Julian Newman is a unique character in a very unique situation. He was given the ability of having great ball handling and somewhat shooting abilities, only to be cursed by what I had to call the Prodigy Curse. Now you may ask, what is the Prodigy Curse? Well, I'll tell you. You're watching your boy Alvini Linguine.
Whoa! He incurred an injury dealing with weights in the weight room, so he stitched up in the left hand doing all this.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Basically, to put it simply, a lot of these kids, or at least in the basketball sense, at a young age are brought up to these special prodigies in basketball, and as they grow up, they are killing the competition at a young age. However, something we should all have seen coming always ends up happening at the end. They all end up short as hell. I swear, every time I see it, it always kills me. I even see it at my local gym. This one guy who played D1 basketball back in his day always brings his kid to do these NBA training sessions. It amazes me to see a middle schooler do it. When I look at him, he's like 5 foot nothing. Then I see his dad and he's like 5'8" and the wife isn't much better either. These kids always end up with the wrong pair genetics wise, I swear to God. But for Julian personally, his profile says he's 5'7". Bullshit. We all know what athletes do with their height. We always add an inch or two just to make ourselves seem a little bit taller, but we all know it's a lie. For example, Trae Young and Colin Sexton say they are both 6'2", but in reality, when they both went to the combine, it was confirmed they were both 6 feet without shoes and 6'1" with shoes. It's all a ploy to make themselves seem bigger. Anyway, that's his first problem, it's his height. And to even be a tad bit more optimistic, let's try to compare him with somebody that is also his height. Do y'all remember the name Julian Robinson, the 5'5" point guard from Mount St. Mary's last year? He is also the same height as Julian, so it is not impossible to make it anywhere with his height, but he does lack in areas that are needed to go to the next level, like his next problem, his shot selection. If you watched my video on his father Jamie Newman, I said that he gives his son the absolute green light to do whatever he wants, however he wants, whenever he wants. Because of that, you see him taking half-court bombs and having really bad shot selections that he tends to take because he thinks he's the top dog. Which he may be, but he sure ain't playing that role correctly. Also, let's talk about his jump shot. Again, I will bring up Julian Robinson only because they're the same height and play very similar, except one is obviously better than the other. Anyway, now let's see how they both shoot a basketball. Look at Junior's jump shot. Good elevation, quick release, ball above his forehead. It's a nice and smooth jump shot. Now let's look at a normal Julian Newman jump shot. Okay, here's an open jump shot for Julian. It's rare that you don't see him take anything that is not contested, but anyways, here we go. Only real mistake I can see is that he starts his form off from his chest, which affects how fast he can shoot, but everything else seems fine. He has decent elevation and a nice form. As long as he fixes the borderline titty shot and shot selection, he will be fine. Next, let's talk about his finishing ability. Now, we won't even try to compare that to Junior as well because he can dunk at 5'5". While Julian has to clickbait us to make us think that he can get anywhere near dunking. Not a good move at all, but for the second comparison, let's do layups since that's as far as Julian is getting. Again, Julian Robinson uses his speed and athleticism to get past defenders and takes in all contact and finishes a lot of difficult layups, which he needs to be able to do to compensate for the fact that he is shorter than a lot of the competition that he goes against. Now for Julian, it's a tad bit different, as he is not that athletic and he's not the type to want to finesse unless he's doing one of his floaters, one of his favorite moves to do while driving in. He likes to do the James Harden tactic, except he drives in head first and forces contact to over-exaggerate to try to get fouls. But lastly, out of all things, let's talk about the real reason college coaches don't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Personality is a huge part of the game of basketball. If Draymond Green was not as dramatic as he was, the Warriors could have avoided losing that one finals against LeBron by not getting suspended in Game 6 with too many technical fouls. Now for Julian, he is way too cocky. For me personally, you can't talk shit and then lose. It happens way too many times for Julian. Julian is also an antagonizer, plain and simple. Now he doesn't do it as much nowadays, but I can almost guarantee it's because A, every time he does it, he ends up getting embarrassed after the fact, and B, his defense is really bad, so instead of defending said person, he would just foul to the best of his ability, as shown by these examples. And let's not even go into the fact about how he will ball hog his way through games just for his own personal gain and never for the team. Now again, like I said in the Julian Newman video, his father allows him to do all of this and probably encourages him to do so for more media attention, because let's be honest, he would not get away with any of this bullshit when he gets on a college team. I have seen on my own team guys who think they can come in and be top dog and have way too big of an ego, and they all end up the same way, either transferring or just kicked from the team. He has to learn to be more mature and humble himself, because if he thinks he can go and do the same thing in college where his dad is not the coach, he is in for a rude awakening. Now, if he ever makes it to play college basketball, he has to understand he is a midget and has to play a lot smarter because of that. D1 is basically made up of the best and freaks of nature, and as you go down, those factors usually go down by a lot. And in no way do I suggest JUCO, as it is more of a dog-eat-dog type of thing where it's just full of people who are grinding for a better position, and the way he plays would probably piss off some people, honestly. But since he is going to his dad's fucking school and claiming to be going against the best competition while playing the same way, is not going to be good for his stock. But I guess it'll make for some good YouTube videos of his team getting destroyed. Anyways, that's my thoughts on Muggsy Bogues. He's a good player for high school, but is truly overrated since all of his highlights you see on YouTube does not tell the full story of how he actually plays. He has some work to do, but if he plays his cards right, he can even play some college ball somewhere. He can even play some overseas after the fact. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment of what you'd like to see next and some thoughts on today's video, as I respond to every comment. This is your boy, Alvini Linguine, saying peace.